just add up how many grams of sugar that is in just the lunch. Never mind what they've had for breakfast, what they may have eaten between class, what they're going to eat from the vending machine in addition to that.
Louisa, how did you find Carnivore?
Thank you, David. Dave, for hosting me this evening. I feel like I'm the biggest fan of your site and all of the guests that you have had on your channel. And over the past 8 months, I have felt like I've been lurking quietly here. And now I have gained so much from the experience of your guests that I thought I'd come to the table this evening and share, even though I'm shy and introverted. um, Dave, I found Carnivore in around January of this year, and I really wish I had come across Carnivore about 15 years ago because it's been such a game changer in my life. And the reason I guess Carnivore came up through my algorithm is I had been focused on a ketogenic lifestyle for probably 20 years. And only recently, in the summer of 2023, I decided to add intermittent fasting to that protocol, as well as experimenting with OMAD, which is 1 meal a day, of course, as you know. And leading up to this experience in the last 8 to 12 months, I have been most of my life an athlete. And so I come to this discussion this evening not having any health issues and not being on any medication. But what's really profound to me with the carnivore experience has been the way it's impacted a lifestyle that I thought was already a really great lifestyle. And it has really impacted me as an athlete. And I am really enjoying the process of learning more about how carnivore impacts me as a lifestyle, as an athlete. And that's really the foundation of the framework tonight that I'd like to talk about. And hopefully it'll resonate with someone. So over the past 20 years, I've been mostly an ultra athlete, meaning that I do very long distance racing. So I'm an Ironman. I have spent 5 to 6 years doing triathlons at every level. Uh, from from triathlons and Ironman, I moved into ultra running, which is a 100-mile race. From there, I moved into masters swimming, and I've competed at a provincial, a national, and then international level with swimming. From there, I moved into CrossFit. I like to keep things fresh. So I moved into CrossFit for about 5 years and then really developed a love for Olympic weightlifting, which is the clean and jerk and snatch. So leading up to COVID, for 2 to 3 years into the COVID experience, I had been competing in Olympic weightlifting. And so I had put on weight, I had been putting on muscle. I had competed at the PanAm Games for Canada in the Masters division and won 3 bronze medals. Then I went on to compete at the World Championships. And then COVID hit. And so for many athletes and people, gyms closed, coaches, went off and did other things. And we were basically left with 25 hours of training each week to basically walking or running or, trying to do something. But it certainly wasn't Olympic weightlifting. And I had all this muscle mass. Then over the next few years, I had to make some adjustments in order to lose weight, in a healthy manner. It was a little disappointing as well because you work so hard to put on that really lean mass. So, so I had always relied upon the ketogenic diet. I am really good at manipulating my weight up and down due to Olympic weightlifting. You have to make weight in your age division. And so I always considered myself really good at being able to manipulate my weight. So weight has never been an issue for me in my life. I'm one of the very lucky ones, I would say. So in the summer of 2023, I found myself with extra weight and I was really uncomfortable with it. And that was also during a time frame of menopause. So those two factors really brought weight on me that I had never experienced in my life. It was really uncomfortable for me. So I just thought, okay, well, let's dive into ketogenic. I was doing some updated research, and I came across OMAD, one meal a day, as well as intermittent fasting. And within a very short period of time, meaning about 3 months, 3.5 months, I had lost 20 pounds and was starting to feel really good. But being an athlete and being a bit of a perfectionist, 20 pounds wasn't quite enough for me. And that's when I discovered uh, carnivore. And at first glance, I totally dismissed it. I thought it was, I thought it was crazy. It was the steak and butter gal. It was the steak and butter gal that I first came across. And, I remember listening to one of her, what is carnivore? And I thought, just meat. Like that's crazy. I have come from a background where I have weighed all my food every single day for, the better part of 20 years. And the thought of just eating meat, even though I really enjoy meat, just sounded just a little bit out there. It didn't make sense to me how you could get all your nutrition from just eating meat and fat. I was used to eating very lean chicken breasts and brown rice and lots of vegetables, and eating multiple times a day to work with my training, before training, after training, before I sleep, when I wake up. I mean, it's been a very regimented 20 years of athletics. So I dismissed Steak and Butter Girl, and apologies if she ever watches this. Uh, but then the doctors who crept into my feed, the first one was Dr. Anthony Chafee, uh, and I really dug into his material, and I really liked who he was as a person. He comes across as incredibly credible. He's fit. I really related to that. I came across Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Sean Baker, and then Sally Norton. And of course, this wonderful channel, No Carb Life. And after digging deep into the research and the science, and it took me about 3 or 4 months that I really dug into it, and it really started to make sense to me. The science made sense to me, and then what kind of brought the whole picture or system together were the guests that you hosted, and the guests who were talking about their health issues and medications and IBS and having trouble walking and having uh, obesity challenges for the majority of their life. And it really struck me. I really just felt for a lot of people, because I feel like I have been really fortunate to not have experienced any of those challenges, but I really resonated with a lot of your guests. And so I decided, as I do most things, that I was going to go carnivore and I would go all in. And that's what I have done as an athlete for most of my life. There's no gradual progression. It's just, okay, let's get rid of all the stuff in the kitchen. Let's get rid of the flour, the crackers, the cheese, all the stuff that I like. I'm come from an Italian family. The pasta went, it all went. And then I went to the meat department and I picked up the fattiest cuts of meat that I could find. And interestingly, as an athlete, I rarely had red meat. I rarely ate red meat. It really was not on the table. And so, I had to really figure out how to cook all this meat. So that's kind of the introduction to carnivore uh, that I had. And once I decided to dive into that, the two things that I decided to also forego was alcohol and caffeine. And I didn't let go of those at the same time. I thought, okay, like, let me be kind to myself. So I gave up the wine first. And, uh, I felt that drinking wine, I missed more that social interaction of holding a glass of wine as I was speaking to someone or having a glass of wine as I was making dinner. I feel like that was my connection to wine. So after about 21 days of letting wine go, caffeine was next. And I got to tell you, that was the hardest thing I've ever done was to let go of caffeine. Holy, the headaches. I mean, it was a week of really feeling awful, fatigue, brain fog. That was really, really hard. And I will never go back to caffeine again. Once you realize what that chemical does to your body, what it does to your brain, how it just speeds things up, and it's so unhealthy, and you don't realize it till you're off it. So wine went first, then caffeine, and for 2 weeks I really went through the process of changing from a keto diet to carnivore. I probably had an easier journey or easier experience based on the fact that I was already on a fairly low carb diet. So I wasn't eating really more than 50 to 75 grams of carbs prior to carnivore. So it wasn't a horrible transition, but what I did find was for 2 weeks, I had definitely intestinal issues. I had kind of like that diarrhea. I think it was my body just releasing a whole bunch of stuff that it wanted to release. And uh, we had some challenges with oxalates. I think the oxalates leaving my body, I think because I had a high the vegetables that I were eating were high in oxalates. And so I had a challenge in those 2 weeks with oxalates. And prior to carnivore, I never heard of oxalates. So again, another, something new for me. So fast forward then to getting through my 2 weeks of carnivore. uh, I'll talk a little bit about what that looked like for me, what my day looks like. It hasn't changed very much. Predominantly, I eat one big meal a day on my carnivore diet. That is usually a very high fat steak. I don't usually eat the entire steak because it's too much of a portion for me, but I'll eat at least 3/4 of it. And I'll have a piece of fish with that. It could be a sardine, it could be salmon, but I'll have those two things. And then later in the day is kind of a snack, I guess. Um, I'll have 3 or 4 eggs, and maybe I'll have some sausages with that, or 8 to 10 slices of bacon cooked. And that's really what my day looks like. Uh, so ruminant fatty meat is what makes me feel good. Eggs, I use butter, I use salt, I like pork belly. I bought an air fryer because I heard from all your guests that was really the way to go. And then when I'm hungry or I feel like, you get that little nibbly feeling, I like sardines. And they're just really easy, and they're usually in olive oil. So it's not too bad. And that's basically what I eat. Do I miss my other foods? Do I miss pasta and pizza and salads? Well, I've never been a salad person. So I'm glad that I don't have to eat salads, and I'm glad I don't look at rotting salad in my refrigerator any longer. It's always an issue for me. And I always felt guilty because I know I should have it. and then it just goes bad too quickly, and then I just throw it out. So from that perspective, for me, the refrigerator is just full of meat on an ongoing basis, and it's just really, really simple for me. So after losing the initial 20 pounds on ketogenic and OMAD and fasting, once I switched to carnivore, very quickly, not through any design, I lost another 33 pounds, like really quickly. So I do want to say that I'm 5'11", and I turned 60 years old this year. So in February, I turned 60. So I was 5'11". I started at 208 pounds, and I'm now 156. I went from wearing a size 12, and I'm wearing a size 6 now. And I've never felt better in my life.
Sorry to interrupt. A lot of that weight is muscle too, right?
Yes. I've documented the benefits that I have realized, and I have quite a list here. And some of these benefits really surprised me. So again, I started in a very healthy place, but these are the benefits that I've noticed from thinking that I was healthy to now actually feeling incredibly healthy. The first thing for me was I couldn't believe the level of joy and happiness that came into my life with no reason. You know, I'm on a walk with my dog and I'm smiling and singing. Never happened in my life. Never. Like, who am I? My dog looks at me and I'm like, I know I'm singing to you. It's weird. My brain has become quiet. I've always had like a really busy brain, and now it's a quiet brain, and it's very engaged and very focused. And this is the thing that I love the most. I am really, really dialed in mentally, and it's an amazing feeling. And anyone who, if I were to ask someone, how do you feel about your brain fog? Everyone would say to me, I don't have brain fog. But you only know what you know. And until the brain fog is gone, you don't even know you have brain fog, which is, you know, it's a concern, right? A decrease in anxiety. So I've never had anxiety my entire life until I hit menopause. And then out of the blue, I started to experience anxiety, which was really concerning for me. But now on carnivore, it's minimal to non-existent. I have a deep, deep restful sleep. My oral health has always been good, but it's even improved more. There's no plaque on my teeth. I don't, put my tongue across my teeth and feel any grittiness that you do when you eat carbs, or sugar. That it's all gone. My teeth feel amazing. They're whiter. They're brighter. Hair and nail growth. Like I feel like a chia pet. My hair is just sprouting like nobody's business. It's weird. No gas, no bloating. I put my pants on in the morning. It doesn't matter what I eat throughout the day. There's no bulging. My pants fit the same. I don't have to release a button. There's none of that. I wear my slim pants. I just feel amazing. For any woman who's gone through menopause, for me to sit here and say that I have a 27-inch waist at age 60, well, I know that's going to really impact when a lot of women hear that, because we had that waist, we had that size waist in our 20s. And really, when you go through menopause, really that belly fat just sort of comes out of nowhere. So I have a 27-inch waist. Yay me. Yay carnivore. Moisturized skin. So I don't use anything on my skin. It's just natural. I don't wear deodorant anymore, and that's kind of weird to me. I don't have a need for deodorant. I don't have any body odor. That was a surprise to me. I was developing eye floaters, so it's like when I'm looking at my computer screen, I might have like a little spot on my screen that I can't see. I work in Excel spreadsheets a lot, and it was really starting to affect me. I have none. They are gone. just disappeared. So that is incredible. Sustained energy, huge energy. So this spring, uh, I moved out of Toronto, a very large city, to a very small city, a small town, and I started sprinting. I'm not a sprinter, by the way. I'm a long distance person, but I'm sprinting in fields, and my dog thinks this is great, and he's chasing after balls, and I'm getting HIIT workout, HIIT, high intensity interval workouts done. At age 6, what woman at age 60 starts sprinting? Like, it's crazy, right? So because I moved to a small town and I really didn't know too many people, I started a swim club here. And I haven't been swimming masters in about 10 years, but I've just finished my 4th week of swimming in open water. My first week, I was swimming about 500 meters, and I really felt like, wow, this is really hard. And in 6 to 7 weeks, I'll be competing in my first 6-kilometer open water swim race. So what I'm trying to say is that in a very short period of time, I have not only got myself into open water, but I have increased. I'm swimming about 3,000 meters 5 mornings a week now. And I've never swam a 6-kilometer open swim race. And for me to do that in such a short period of time is quite amazing, actually. So I have 5 other people in the swim club who are also going to be doing this swim. So it's a really nice way to meet people in my new town. Let's see here. So here are the athletic performance changes that really are mind-blowing to me, again, because this discussion for me is to frame as an athlete going from a standard athletic diet to a carnivore diet, and I wasn't sure how my body would respond. So for all the non-athletes on this channel who are going to watch this interview, really an athlete's diet is to fuel the body. That's what we do. That's our focus, is what food is going to fuel my body, not put on weight, and be able to get me in the gym or in the water or on the Olympic weightlifting platform to give me the maximum amount of fuel. And then after those workouts, to refuel, not with too much, not with minimal amount, but just the right amount. And so that would be protein shakes and pre-workout meals and a lot of chicken or turkey breasts, so a lot of white meat, not fatty meat. We shunned away from all the fatty meat. And then a lot of carbs. Like, honestly, I'm so saddened to think I put all those carbs in my body for all those years, thinking that I needed carbs to fuel my workouts. So as we know, we have 2 energy systems that our body can tap into. We have the carb and sugar avenue, or we can switch and go into ketosis, and we can access the storage of fats. And those are the two streams. And I have always accessed what I believed and what many athletes believe and still do, that the carb, sugar, fill those glycogen stores, before your marathon or before your 100-mile run, and you'll be just fine. So when I got into the water in the last 5 weeks, I was getting into the water fasted. So my last meal would be, I don't know, 2 or 3 p.m., let's say on a Sunday afternoon. I don't eat anything at night. I go to bed. I wake up at 6:45 to go swim. So I'm swimming for that, or there's that amount of time that I have been fasting overnight with no food before I start a workout, which is a 2-hour in the water workout. It's quite a good workout. At no time have I had any dips in energy. I have not bonked once. So bonk is just an athletics term when you completely have no more energy and you just literally fall apart at the side of the road. I don't even think about food while I'm training in the morning. I am full of energy, full of vitality, not hungry at all. I am completely ready for whether it's an interval training, longer distance training, just whatever coach throws at us, I'm ready for. When I finish my swim, I'm still not really, really hungry. It's this little niggly feeling that says, hey, you might start thinking about food. But it's not that feeling in the past where I finished my workout from Olympic weightlifting or Ironman training and I am starving. Like I have food with me because I cannot travel the distance to get home to fix something. I have to eat like now. So that is really an interesting revelation to me as an athlete, that my meal from 2 or 3 p.m. the day before has powered me through a workout. I've exited the workout and I feel good, I'm relaxed, and I don't have that intense hunger. So then by the time I get home, 15 minutes later, I start to think about, okay, is it going to be eggs? Should I do some bacon? Should I wait? Again, I'm not running for my kitchen trying to, grab anything that I can find out of the refrigerator. And raw meat, there's really nothing fast to grab in this home. So that has really, really surprised me. On a larger perspective, as I make it through the week and I make it through all my workouts, um, I don't have any soreness. So think of me, I haven't been in the water for 10 years. Now I'm really ramping up quickly and I'm not sore. I don't have sore shoulders. I don't have sore legs, glutes. Nothing is sore. So it's either I'm not working out hard enough, which I doubt, or I'm taking in so much protein, the right amount for my body, that the refeeding process of my muscles and my body is spot on. And I just go with what my body is telling me. So on some days, maybe our workout's a little bit harder and I'm a little more hungry, and I'll just eat. I don't look at the clock. I don't think about, is this the right time of day? If I'm hungry, I eat. If I'm not hungry, I don't eat. So that has been a real eye opener for me. And I'm really interested in, as I get closer to my goal and as I get closer to my race, what other revelations will happen. Already my team is discussing what gels they're going to take in the support boats with them. And the only thing I will be taking with me is a water bottle with salt in it. I want to make sure I have salt so I don't cramp. So it's more an electrolyte approach. But there is no reason that I can see that I would want to switch from this body that's in perfect alignment with fat burning and then introduce, a power bar or anything, because I think my body will just go, hey, wait, like what's happening here? I'm in fat burning. What am I supposed to do with this stuff now? So, so that is my plan, is to just go with water and salt. And I think I'm going to be fine. I mean, this one will probably take me 3 hours, I would think. But I have no worry that I will have a dip in energy, or that at some point in my swim, energy will dip or my performance will dip. I'm not even worried about it. I just know that my fat stores are there and I'm probably good to swim, 100K. I have enough fat still for that. I can't believe how well I sleep at night, and that's a big part of recovery. So between the, really nutrient dense food, wonderful rest at night, I just feel like I'm living my best life. And I really wish I had found this 20 years ago.
Yeah, congratulations. That's awesome, and it's happened in such short order. It's just so good to hear. Um, but just one of the things that you mentioned at the end there that I'd like to touch on first is you're talking about all the other people thinking about what gels am I going to take and that kind of thing. Has no one approached you and said, why are you just carrying a water bottle and that's it? Or, what are you doing?
Uh, no, we haven't really, I don't really discuss it. No one really knows that I'm doing carnivore because we haven't discussed that. I anticipate that as we get closer to the event, there will be more discussions with coach and people, have mentioned that, oh, I'll probably carry some gels and stuff. I just don't say anything because it'll lead to more questions. And I just really, this is my journey, my experience. Maybe it won't work and I'll crash and burn out there. But for now, I just kind of keep it quiet into myself. But inside, I know I'm going to be fine. I know I'm going to do well. And I have no worries. I just don't feel like I don't want to explain that to anyone at this point.
But it's just so nice that when you're eating this way, you've just got this stable energy that it's just like this energy follows you around, as if you've just got this supply wherever you need it.
It's an unbelievable feeling. It's remarkable, actually. And it's difficult to explain to other people until they've experienced it themselves. And I have had people, ask me, well, don't you get bored just eating meat? And, the reality is, no, I don't get bored. It's fish, it's seafood, there's all kinds of meat. I mean, there's, canned sardines or fresh sardines. There's a plethora of food available. What is really nice is the amount of time that I have back in my life because I'm not spending 3 meals a day preparing meals in the kitchen. I'm wondering what I'm going to make today. The grocery shopping is, 15 minutes. I'm in and out. Uh, I packed up and put away all my pots and pans from my from my kitchen because I don't use them. I have my air fryer, and the cleanup in the kitchen is just so easy. So no, I'm not bored. It's given me more freedom in my life to do things that I enjoy, and that's a gift. I see that as a real gift.
Yeah, I was thinking that as you were talking, like the management of what you have to eat as an athlete, doesn't that become exhausting?
In
Like that
hindsight,
part of it would make me want to give up.
in hindsight, weighing and measuring all your food. I would do food prep on Sunday nights where I would batch cook a whole bunch of things. I would weigh it, I would put them in containers, and then I would be, organized for the week. Uh, but it's something that when you're on uh, that type of diet, uh, your hunger pains, just if you don't have food with you, there could be violence in the streets, basically. Um, so there's really no choice. You do have to spend all that time prepping. And you ask any athlete, how much time do you spend prepping your food? It is hours. You have to be really, really organized and find refrigeration and all of that. So this is a very free way of living. Carnivore has really freed me up in terms of the way that I live. And I just love that simplicity, that minimalism. Because I'm free to do other things that I enjoy, like talking to you.
Yeah, it's amazing how much time you claw back just through not thinking about food, right?
And I've listened to a number of of guests on your show that live in a family environment. I'm a single person, and so grocery shopping is difficult as a single person because everything is sold in large quantities. If you buy asparagus, you're eating asparagus for 3 nights. Okay, that's the way it is. If you buy mushrooms, right, it's huge. It's like, okay, what? So instead of, eating more of what you would want to eat, you're trying to use whatever you happen to have in your refrigerator because you bought it, and it's going to go off in 3 days. So, you have to, anyway, it takes time to figure out, what am I going to do with all these carrots? What am I going to do with this huge zucchini? But as a single person, now just throwing a steak into my air fryer or a pork belly, and 18 minutes later, I'm the best fed gal in town. So it's wonderful. Sounds a little crazy. Again, to the people that I have mentioned this to, their first response was my first response. That's crazy, right? That was my initial response. But when I have friends who, like today, I had 2 or 3 people mention to me that one has IBS, has been suffering with IBS, one has ADD, and one person has ADD, anxiety. And so I send them a few videos. Usually I send them Anthony Chafee. I send them the video of your guest speaker, who I absolutely think so highly of, which is Annalise, the professor from Stanford University, who I just think is absolutely top notch, so credible, not just in her study that she's embarking on, but the way that she has adopted carnivore and the changes it's made in her life. And because my friends are academic, she's very credible. And so I just, I've always been of the view that I'm going to do me. I don't feel I need to explain myself to anyone. I don't feel that anyone else needs to explain themselves to me. And so, but if someone happens to mention, gosh, I'm really struggling with this, I like the soft approach. I say, have you heard about, the carnivore diet? Because I've been on it for 8 months, and I got to tell you, I'm feeling really, really good on it for these reasons. Should I share a few links with you? Okay, sure. Then it's not me trying to convince, because I don't want to convince anybody to do anything. I have enough of that from, vegan vegan community that just want to convince you that this is better or this is best and that you must do this. And I never want to be that person in a crowd. But I don't miss the opportunity to share when it's appropriate, or someone is sharing with me that they're struggling in finding a resolution to either something that is emotional, or, something like ADD, which, can really affect you in so many ways. And so for me, the soft approach, then if they have questions, they can come back to me. I mean, certainly people ask me, how the heck did you lose 53 pounds? Menopausal. It's a little fairy dust.
Yeah. But if you were talking to someone and they said, "Well, look, you've lost 53 pounds. That's great. You got more energy. That's great. You've got more stamina. Wonderful. But this is really restrictive." How would you respond to that?
And I do get that question, Dave. You're right. Again, I like to have the soft approach. And my soft approach is always, there's hard and then there's hard. So having IBS must be hard. Eating wonderful, flavorful, fatty, fulfilling, robust food is not hard. You just have to decide whether your hard is harder than what you perceive my hard to be. But maybe as a busy mom who's working full time and maybe looking after aging parents, maybe one of your challenges is constraints in time. Wouldn't it be amazing that you don't have to think about what you're cooking on a daily basis? Wouldn't it be just amazing to come home and throw a couple burger patties into the air fryer, and then you get on to what your, you know, what your challenges are, where you need to be. You need to be with your parents. Your kids need help with homework. But I really think that people who've never tried carnivore, it's hard for them to conceive of that feeling of fullness and not thinking about food once you've finished eating. And you may not think about food for another 8 to 9 hours. And for many, many people, that is absolutely inconceivable, because someone is eating their breakfast, they're already talking about what they're going to make for dinner. I know, I have friends who do that. and and once you're so satisfied on a carnivore diet, if someone said to you, "What are you making for dinner?" your response is likely to be, "I have no idea. Maybe I won't have dinner tonight. Maybe I'm going to make some bacon and eggs tomorrow morning. It just depends how I feel." But that state of being, it's very difficult to conceive of. And even for me, was an athlete for 20 years and very structured and very committed. When I heard your clients discussing that, it's something that you don't really fully understand. You can't understand it until you're doing it. And then it's like the blinders come off and you're like, I haven't even thought about food for 8 or 9 hours, and I'm going to go to bed without eating again. And I am completely satiated, and I'm going to have a great sleep because I'm not hungry. It's amazing.
It's like I didn't know this world existed. I couldn't even imagine it existing.
Exactly. Exactly. And I always use your analogy when it comes to what do our bodies need? Well, what does a lion need? Lions aren't foraging for blueberries and strawberries. And, I pulled up some interesting little bits of information this afternoon. Um, I was listening to Anthony Chaffee, Dr. Chaffee, and he talked about the fact that a human body, an adult body, normal size, can process 4 grams of sugar at any given time. 4 grams of sugar. So a banana has 12 grams of sugar. A 12-ounce can of Coke has 39 grams of sugar. A healthy apple has 10 grams of sugar. And Raisin Bran cereal is 31 grams of sugar per serving. Now, when I was eating Raisin Bran, I wasn't eating half a cup. I was
Yeah,
eating,
I never had the serving size.
missed that part. I missed that memo. So when you think about a healthy teenager going to school with, say, a lunch packed from home, let's just say best case scenario, okay? A 17-year-old healthy male goes to the vending machine, grabs himself a Coke. Mom has kindly packed him a sandwich, maybe a Nutri-Grain bar, put a healthy apple and banana in there because maybe this young man has basketball practice after school and needs some food, a couple of cookies, and, what else parents pack in lunches, okay? Just add up how many grams of sugar that is in just the lunch. Never mind what they've had for breakfast, what they may have eaten between class, what they're going to eat from the vending machine in addition to that. And as per Dr. Anthony Chaffee, 4 grams of sugar at any one time is what a human body can metabolize. And you do this every single day for years and years. And then you add alcohol to that, and you go out and you have your birthday cake or your desserts or your pastries that come to work that, that people kindly bring in. It kind of starts to blow your minds. What are we doing? What are we doing to our bodies? And why can't our kids focus in school? why is ADD and ADHD such big problems, and why is mental illness such a big, big issue? It's mind blowing, and so go from that onto a carnivore diet. I'm pretty sure people must feel like they've been reborn.
Right? Yeah. It really is. It's like I kind of look at it like, it's a new factory worker going in to operate a piece of machinery, and they haven't been trained, and they think they know what they're doing. So they're just like, they pour something into this outlet and they turn these levers and they go, it's kind of working, but I've got to maintain it a lot. And it's like, I've got to wipe it off all the time, and I've got to pour more stuff into it all the time just to keep it working. And then the next day, the supervisor comes in and says, you're not doing this right. You just need to push this button. And it's like suddenly it works smoothly. And it's like that's kind of the difference between running on sugar and running on fat.
And one of the biggest questions I get is, oh, no, fiber is really important. And I think that's the first thing that people say to me is, what about fiber? And, anyone who's had a dog on a raw food diet knows that that dog is lean, full of energy, has much smaller poops. You're picking up a lot less on your morning walk, and they live longer. And that's just the way it is. Dogs were not meant to eat grains, corn, wheat. The 10 things, if you look on any package of dog food, the first 10 items are anything but meat, unless you're feeding your dog a really, really, really high quality protein kibble meal. But dogs who are on food just do amazingly well. And so, if we're going to do that for our dogs, we need to do that for ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like animals don't get diabetes unless they're dogs that are in the home eating the same garbage that we eat, right?
Exactly, exactly. So for me, Dave, I'm thrilled. I've, been carnivore now. I just finished my 8th month, down 53 pounds, feeling, absolutely incredible. Very excited for my swimming race in September, and thinking now, what sport will I jump into to go back to competing on a national and international level, because that's just how I feel. I just feel amazing. And so I'm really interested in seeing how this journey continues, given the very short period of time that I've been on it, compared to, of course, some of your guests who have been on it for years. I still feel like I haven't experienced everything that's going to come my way because of this, because of carnivore. So again, Dave, thank you so much for everything that you bring to this channel and sharing your guests with us, because I definitely have taken away more from your guests than is possible. And tonight was maybe about just giving back a little bit to a community group that I really have felt very connected to over the last 10 months. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And Louisa, is there a way that people can reach out to you? Do you have any social media?
I'm not on social media very much. I have a pretty busy life, but my email address, I don't mind you sharing my email address. And you could just put that in the notes if you like, lcantalon@gmail.com. People are free to reach out to me at that email address if they like.
Sure, I'll do that. Look, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story, and all the best for September. And I hope you'll come back after September and let us know how it went.
Thank you so much, Dave.